Hello and welcome to Before We Break Up Again, a podcast with me and her. You know us by now. It's episode 20. Did you know that, Jessie?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
I'm very happy with that too. To celebrate, it's a fetish special where we talk about all the different fetishes, or at least some that Jessie had written down off of the internet, and then those branch out into other conversations that use the fetish as a jumping off point. So, it's not a bad idea, is it? Enjoy the episode. There we go. Is that figurine as you'd like it for the rest of the episode?
Mm-hmm. Do you know that one's name?
No, I don't.
And this is King Kong.
I don't know.
Godzilla.
No.
Right.
Godzilla's not a gorilla type character, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla, or Gojira, is lizard, kind of huge lizard thing.
That's so stupid of me.
Like
We went to see Godzilla, didn't we, on one of our first dates?
That was our very first outing together to the cinema.
Yeah.
Was to go and see Godzilla, but spelt with the Gojira spelling.
I don't remember that. I don't remember the spelling. I remember that I had a huge spot on my
Well,
forehead.
it's that version. Yeah, you had the biggest spot I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was, and I couldn't stop looking at it. And
Did we talk about that?
In the queue for sweets before we got into the movie theatre, I was talking to you, making conversation, and you said to me, you cut me off at one point and said to me, "If you don't stop looking at my spot, I'm going to have to leave."
That's funny of me.
Yeah. Well, I think I was staring at it quite a lot. And did we kiss in the cinema? And I think I remember you saying, like, years later that you were very flattered that I kissed you in public or something?
All right. Yeah, I remember feeling quite... It was very strange dating, wasn't it? When I was pregnant after not telling you for how many weeks.
Mm.
It was very strange. I remember that vividly. I remember sitting in the Chinese restaurant was that on the same day? In Camden.
Yeah.
Went to get like Marmite. It was something Marmite flavored prawns or something.
And like salty, sugary, like crispy chicken fingers.
Yeah, I remember it. Do you know what's really, really sweet / tragic is that I wrote down our 51st dates. I have a Word document somewhere, which is probably long gone, actually. That's sad. Of every date we went on.
Really?
Yeah, just the places. It wasn't kind of, I felt like this and we did this. It was just where we went.
God, that must be a pretty depressing read. Date 1, Oaxaca. Date 2, Oaxaca. Date 3, Oaxaca. Date 4, Oaxaca. Date 5, Oaxaca.
Byron.
Date 6, Oaxaca. Date 7, Byron. Date 8, Oaxaca.
9, Byron.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Byron and Oaxaca.
It was, yeah.
That was when Byron was good.
And it was when Oaxaca was good.
Poor Byron.
Poor Oaxaca. I think they've had some hygiene issues, but I don't know. So don't take my word for it, listener.
We've been there since the hygiene. They had a big E. coli outbreak.
That's right. There was a big E. coli outbreak. I've taken our daughter there since then, but I've not been there with you for quite some time. I don't think I've actually been inside the restaurant with you post E. coli, have I?
No, I don't think I can. I don't. I think we have been once, to be fair. Anyway, I would like to find that Word document, but the problem is I've got so many hard drives and I've got so many things on different things. And
This is the problem with hoarding and digital hoarding as well as physical hoarding. Don't know if you can see the background. That you've got... What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I'm not a hoarder. This isn't hoarding stuff. This is just life stuff. That's a poss and play couch. That's not hoarding.
Yeah. Look,
What am I hoarding?
There's too much stuff.
Well, what What's too much stuff about it? Where's the too much stuff?
Well, the size of flat we have, I don't think you take into account the size of flat we have when you purchase things for it.
Like a possum play couch, which has changed our lives dramatically.
I think you were being optimistic with your use of changed our lives, and I think deluded with your
Don't you
use
think
of
it's the best thing I've ever
dramatically.
bought off Instagram?
Yeah, but that's a low bar, isn't it? What are the great Instagram purchases?
The Mellow Mat.
The Mellow Mat again, yeah. I would say that was a better purchase, because now the man downstairs doesn't angrily come up, knock on the door and try and break into our flat and leave you screaming behind the door. You can't come in!
What did I say? This is harassment. I'll call the police. And I think I said, I'm on the phone to the police right now. It's so awkward seeing him at the gym.
Is he at the gym?
Oh, yeah. Whenever I'm running, he walks by and I can see in the reflection, he's looking and scowling at me as I'm running.
I really want to know what this guy looks like.
You don't know what he looks like?
No, I've no idea. This mysterious downstairs, all these neighbours.
He's young.
Who interfere with our, who have been rude to you or our children when I've not been there. And I can't avenge you because
That's
I don't
sweet.
know what they look like.
Thank God you haven't been there, because I think you would be quite violent. Not that you're a violent man, but I think when you are protecting us, you could be.
Maybe.
I'd quite enjoy. Oh my God, I would think I'd be really
turned
on by you punching someone on my behalf.
Yeah. Women are very...
A duel?
I think that's part of the female primal makeup that you can't quite move past, isn't it? Women get horny when men fight, especially protecting. I've seen it happen.
I'd really like that. Let's instigate something. Let's arrange that. Even if it was just role play, I think I could really get into that.
Okay. Well, that's good. Maybe
Actually, that's on theme.
That's your fetish.
This is on theme with the episode of fetishism.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about fetishism.
Are we?
Yeah. Well, I did a show last week, and my show is about the hair fetish in part with my OnlyFans journey. And I thought it'd be fun. I got you on stage and we read out this list of fetishes, and we're gonna go through the ones that I've selected as possible fetishes that we could get into as a couple.
Okay.
Because I think that we need something. Like, we don't do tennis together. We don't do any hobbies together.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite fun to maybe develop a fucked up fetish.
Yeah, so let's read them out and we'll see what ones we could both get into. And that will be maybe something that we can pursue and then get back to the listeners about how much we've enjoyed. For example, number 1.
No, but hang on. I've already approved all of these. I'm up for all of these, apart from maybe 1 or 2. So this is the short list, because did you know there are so many fetishes?
Yeah, so these are the things that you could get into. Abrasion is a fetish. It means a subcategory of BDSM that involves feeling aroused by scratchy or harsh surfaces like sandpaper.
What is BDSM exactly?
Sadomasochistic.
But what does it stand for? What's the B?
I don't know.
Bodily dominating subordinate male.
Don't know. Okay.
What does it mean?
It means bondage, discipline. So bondage, so the B, and this is fucking confusing. So the B and the D stand for bondage and discipline, but the D and the S stand for domination and submission, and the S and the M stand for sadism and masochism. So the D and the S are doing double shifts in BDSM.
Well, that's cool.
I didn't know that.
Nor did I.
Well,
But I was
there we
right,
go.
wasn't I?
What were you right about?
I did dominating submissive.
Yes, okay. So bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, and masochism. Sorry.
You're stifling a yawn there, Alfred.
Stifling a little yawn because I don't sleep. Because I don't sleep.
You're an anxious man.
An anxious man who doesn't sleep.
An anxious Aries.
Abrasion. Now, do you think we'd have to go to B&Q together to get the appropriate roughness of sandpaper? Or do you think you'd be happy for me? And who's abrading who? Like, are you using the sandpaper on me, or am I using the sandpaper on you?
I don't know if this one can be a couple's one, because I think it would be actually a good idea for OnlyFans for me to get a load of sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't like this idea, but I think it's good. A load of sandpaper, like a meter by meter, get a cube, somehow make it steady, make a little bot. Maybe I could use the pot and play couch.
Mm-hmm.
Stick sandpaper on there and get in the little cube and pretend it's like a sandpaper house or a cage, and I'm trying to get out of the sandpaper house making all the sounds like I'm a mouse, like scratchy sounds.
Yeah, you could pretend to be a mouse, and then you could put down like that glue paper, and then get your hands and your feet stuck in the glue paper, and go and do that horrible sort of tortured thing where they're so scared that they almost rip their own feet off.
Yeah, so you could be just the hands coming in, like not torturing me, but like you could be dangling cheese, and I could be trying to go.
Well, from our time spent trying to murder those mice in our previous address, Davisville Road, I kind of feel like they don't like cheese as much as we thought they liked cheese.
How did you feel about that when you did it? Because I just couldn't have done that.
Do what?
We got the glue ones, didn't we?
No, we did. We did a lot of things,
But then we had to get an exterminator.
and there was a lot of contraptions. I felt like there's a lot of Disney films with inventor, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and
Best movie of all time.
or Modern Family. Phil's always inventing things. I designed a ramp that went up into a bucket, and then it goes across the plank to get a bit of cheese, and then there's a little flat and it just falls into the bucket, and then you oil the bucket so that it can't get out the bucket.
Did you do all of that?
Yeah, I did that and left it in the middle of the kitchen at night. So that was how we were going to catch the mice.
You
or
really
rats.
had a busy COVID, didn't you?
Or what? Yeah, we weren't doing anything else.
But
then I got
you're
a bunch
good
of
at inventing. You're
traps.
good at inventing.
I am.
Because do you remember you invented the trap for the flies as well?
That worked.
Well, I think that you could be an inventor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to write down bucket for no reason.
Okay. Yeah, you're always right. Okay, good. 2, agalmatophilia. Agalmatophilia. Any guesses from Latin experts as to what that might be at home? It is feeling aroused by statues. Jessie, tell me about the last time you felt aroused by a statue.
Only if it's got like a massive dick.
And they very rarely do they?
No, they have tiny little dicks.
Tiny little dicks, and that doesn't do it for you, does it? And they're little flaccid little button mushrooms.
I quite like it when the dick's broken off, because then it's like, oh, it could have been really big.
Mm.
But then you look at their proportions and no.
I think given the era of most of those statues and the amount of man-boy love that was going on, probably better to have a smaller cock.
They're so strange. I find it in the city of London, there's quite a lot of naked statues, and the kids have walked by, and it's quite hard you can't shield them from it. I mean, do you remember when the kids just went up and started just kind of cupping the statues?
No.
Yeah, or maybe you weren't there. But it's like, they're funny, but I don't think they were intended to be funny. Maybe, yeah, I'm not a big fan of statues. Although I do like the idea for one day in my life as an actress, doing the shiny spray and just going for a walk along the river and being a statue. I do think I would quite enjoy that.
Oh, you could go to Covent Garden and sit still.
I think I'd quite enjoy that.
I think I'd be quite good at that because I'm, of course, famously a rather large fan of stillness, aren't I? I love to be still, and I hate it when people move.
You could just read your book. You'd
Well,
probably get tips.
You'd sort of have to do it very slightly. You'd have to have a Kindle.
But I think it
and
would be
just
funny.
click
No, I think it'd be
the
funny if you were
page.
reading.
But that's not still.
Yeah, but
That's
you're,
not a
you're
statue.
dressed as a statue. You're basically naked. You're in a thong. It's just sprayed silver or gold or bronze.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you choose? Silver, gold, or bronze?
Bronze.
Yes, you'd be bronze. You'd just be sitting and just read your book.
I think I feel it as less exposing, bronze.
Put a bucket in front of you and just get some tips. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what I do after OnlyFans. Is
I'm
become
not
a
sure
statue.
you'll earn quite as much money that way, but
Any little helps.
Good luck to you. Anastemophilia.
Hang on, just to finish the statue thing. So if people got this fetish, how are they exercising it? Are they just going out at night and trying to hump some statues? What do they have statues at home?
Well, there's the possibility that they have statues at home. There's also it doesn't mean all statues. If you're aroused by a statue, it doesn't mean you're aroused by all statues, surely.
So are they aroused
Surely
by
if you have a
stone?
foot fetish, it doesn't mean you fancy all feet. In the same way that if you're gay or straight, it doesn't mean you fancy all people or if you love, tits or legs or you're that sort of person, it doesn't mean you love all of them.
Yeah, this is where I'm really interested in fetish, because you say that if you've got a foot fetish, you're not necessarily attracted to all feet. Does the foot have to be attached to? Obviously, the foot has to be attached, or could they fancy just a foot,
An amputated foot.
Amputated foot, and is the attraction and the arousal from the fact that foot is January Jones's body? So, like in the foot stuff I've done for OnlyFans, often they want to see you in the forefront and your foot in the background.
Yeah, so they can go, that's your fucking foot. No questions asked.
They like seeing you with your bare foot or your weird socked foot.
Yeah.
So it isn't about just the foot. It is about the person as well.
Well, yeah. I don't know about feet. It's always been my dream to have a foot fetish, but sadly it eludes me.
But how great would it be to have a statue fetish? Because then you can just become a sculptor, make your statues, sit in your sitting room at night and just have your statues with you. Having a lovely time.
Or if you're very good at incredibly accurate art, you just draw your own porn.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like a chef, you don't like cooking at home.
Yeah, I think it is like that. I think it's also in the same way that it is nicer for whatever reason to have a hand job than it is to masturbate yourself.
Yeah, I think you only say that now that I got better at hand jobs. I think that in the past, I think you would have preferred anything but a hand job.
Yeah. Well done. We should always be. We as a people should always be looking to improve on any deficiencies that we can identify in ourselves. For me, I have started double locking the door of my brother's flat when I leave it, despite the fact that I personally think his need to constantly have the door double locked is unnecessary and borderline, like, a bit mad. My life is not important. I've started double locking the door, and that's something I could do to improve. And Jessie has gotten a lot better at hand jobs. So we've all done our bit
all
to
the
try
jobs.
and improve. Anastemophilia, arousal to a person of extreme stature, giant or dwarf.
So the giantess thing, yeah, which is what I want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're quite a small woman at the best of times, aren't you?
No, it's all about the angle. So you put your phone down low and you're hovering above it.
It's a perspective thing.
Yeah. Really funny stuff as well. Like, it's quite artistic. And also it almost like you almost have to think of yourself as a cinematographer. You've got to think about how everything looks. Does everything look like it's giant? I think it's quite, the person who's watching the footage wants to feel tiny, feel like they could be crushed.
Yes.
Again, I think that's a really cool fetish to have.
Yeah, again, I'd like it.
To have?
Sadly, I don't have it, but I'd like it.
To have, is it to have or to want? Or to
Well, you'd
feel?
No, you have a fetish.
Oh, right, you have a fetish.
Yeah. Autoplushophilia,
Oh, this
feeling
is about
attracted
soft toys.
to oneself when imagining being dressed as a cartoon stuffed animal or plush toy. Now, my recent time spent with Horatio Gould has led me to become familiar with what a brony is. Do you know what a brony is? They're adults who dress as My Little Pony characters. And Horatio has a very funny bit about it. They're quite homophobic as well. These people, they like dresses, but they're like they're like metalheads, but they dress as My Little Pony people. So feeling attracted to oneself when imagining being dressed as a cartoon stuffed animal or plush toy. I don't like the heat, so that one's not for me.
But so if it's attracted to oneself, if you were in a plush, if you were like a Care Bear
Mm-hmm.
and I was Pikachu.
Well, you can be whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. I'm
Yeah,
attracted to
exactly.
myself
So we're
when
both just doing our
imagining
own
myself.
thing.
Yeah, just hanging out. You sit over there. I'll sit over here. I'm Barney the dinosaur, and you are Big Bird,
Okay.
and
That sounds great.
we could fuck in a mirror.
But
I
we
think-
wouldn't be fucking each other. We'd be just with our.
Well, no, I'd be fucking Big Bird, and you'd be fucking Barney the dinosaur. But I think you ever find a way to get your cock out of the Barney the dinosaur,
And it would look so tiny.
and it would look so tiny, a big purple dinosaur with a little pink cock. So that's a no for autoplushophilia. Chasmophilia, arousal to caves. That's me. Valleys and crevices, narrow cracks in rocks or walls. Again, can't get next to that. Don't know what it's like. Is that like when you're a teenager and you try and fuck like the space in the couch between the cushion
Yeah,
and the...
that anything. I think all fetishes are something to do with holes and like feet. The reason my feet are, I think, sexual to some people is because of the spaces in between the toes and the what you can get in the gaps.
I think it's about like it's the lowest and dirtiest point of view. It's something that you're not supposed to see, that you're not supposed to want. And I think there's something about like there's something self-hating in the desire of feet.
But all fetishes are directly linked to something in your childhood, which is what's interesting. So the cuddy toy one, what's going on there?
So as we've established with statues, with plush characters, you've got to want to fancy them. Like you it's not like you fancy all characters or all of them. You fancy them. You fancy some. Like you don't fancy all feet. You fancy some feet, even if you're aroused by feet. So formicophilia, feeling aroused by insects.
Sorry, side note, I've had some people say to me with feet, oh, sorry, I'm not into nail varnish.
Right.
So it's not the foot. It's like it's not any foot, like you say. It's a specific type of foot.
Mm.
Some people only like bunions. Some people like coarse skin. Some people like beautiful, pretty, dainty feet. Some people like ugly feet.
Mm.
So it's within each fetish, there's so many sub fetishes.
Yes, exactly. So that leads us on to formicophilia, feeling aroused by insects. Now, are these people, do they have the ability to delineate between what is like an ugly insect and a fit insect?
What do you think would be a fit insect?
Beetle.
A beetle?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a beetle.
Why?
Because robust and beautiful colouring, that sort of purpley blue that changes in the light. Got incredibly ornate pincer antler sort of things. Yeah, beetle.
I think a ladybug, but ladybugs are really sexually active.
No.
aren't they?
You're a paedophile.
What?
That was
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, was that a joke?
obviously. Yeah.
No, I know, obviously, but I mean, like, but ladybugs are attractive.
They're quite childlike, though.
Well, I just bought a doll dress, a giant doll dress to wear.
Yes, I know. Often I look at the way you dress and think there must be. Anyway.
Do you know what it is, though? This is relevant. I had a dress as a child. There's a photo of me I can find. And I remember everyone saying that I looked nice in that dress from a really young age. It was kind of yellow, had lots of frills and had bits of patchwork and loads of big, colourful buttons. And I wore it for a few years because it was initially massive on me, and then I wore it until it was small. And it was my favourite dress, and I would remember it in a second if I saw it now. And I think it was my first memory of being complimented. And I think that's a direct link to how I dress now and dressed for years, which was kind of clown-like.
That's interesting. I've always been incredibly admiring of how strong your sense of your own style was, and have been quite jealous as somebody who sort of wears clothes with the end goal of not really being naked and has never had any cohesive sense of style. I love that you have that. I think it shows, and the fact that it's not like. I find it all quite weird how trends emerge, like how now you've got cropped T-shirts are a thing, and how like baggy jeans are a thing when it was skinny jeans. But and now skinny jeans look absurd, and wide jeans look great. But I'm sure it was the other way around 10 years ago, and it's not real. None of it's real.
No.
And also, I think what's quite hard for everybody of this generation to get their head around is that it's now stopped. Like progression is over. Invention is over. Now we've gone from everything is borrowed from the past in a way that wasn't so true. You had fashion that was new and looks were being created afresh, whereas now people just pick from previous trends to create new ones. And there's always like a sense of being derivative in anything, music, fashion, art, whatever. But now fashion is, now the 60s are back in, or now the 90s are back in, or whatever.
Well, I at the costume shop where I've been a few times to get certain outfits for my, cosplay career that hasn't launched yet. The woman, as I was buying this dress, was like, well, medieval's really hot right now. Medieval's big, which I found funny. So yeah, and you see in magazines, what's hot and medieval. It's ridiculous. Whenever there's a trend going on, like the baggy jeans thing or the 90s. The 90s is such a big trend, isn't it? I've actively just avoided anything.
What do you mean avoided?
I just would never buy anything that's in the trend bits.
No?
No. I can't. I would be so embarrassed.
It's funny that you're wearing a 90s band T-shirt.
Yeah, I just saw that. But this is not. It's not like band T-shirts. It's just.
It's late 80s and early 90s as well.
Oh, really?
So I suppose you're fine.
When we were staying in that hotel in Manchester, was it 2 years ago now, were the Pixies playing opposite? Yeah, that was so nice, hearing them sound check.
Yes.
I was thinking about that today.
What have we got next? Masochism, arousal to experiencing physical and psychological pain. You don't mind a bit of physical, but psychological?
I don't know. I don't think I'm hardcore enough for that.
No? Not. You don't want psychological?
No, thanks. Do you?
No, I don't want either.
You aren't great at the talking side of things with sex.
Well, we've established this already on the podcast. We've spoken about this before. I don't.
Sorry, sir.
No. I was just gearing. I was just letting everybody know that I had the potential to be repetitive again when I said no. I don't. So
if I was telling you off during sex, you wouldn't like it. I think that would make you.
I think I get enough of that when we're not having sex.
Oh right, I was going to say, telling you. I don't tell you off. I don't tell you off.
But either way, it's not like what you want, is it?
In life.
Well, to be told off. It's
I
not
don't
what I
tell
want.
you off.
I know. I'm saying in sex.
Yeah, and I know. I think I would quite like to be told off during sex.
Okay. Well, I'm fine. I will.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Nasolingus. Arousal to sucking on a partner's nose.
This is disgusting. I don't know why I have that in there.
Why? So these are all the ones that you've checked and you could be into, you've said.
I thought this one was kind of so peculiar I had to talk about it.
That's kink shaming, Jessie.
No, I'm not kink shaming.
No, you are
Sorry,
kink
I'm
shaming.
kink
That's
shaming.
a big shame.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
sorry to kink
The
shame.
second one in this partnership to be cancelled.
I'm sorry to kink shame. I just think
Jessie Cave was today cancelled for kink shaming on her podcast Before We Break Up Again. The event happened 29 minutes into the couple's podcast in the 20th
stop.
episode. Cave was heard to say that nasolingus, a fetish in which one member of a relationship will suck the nose of another, was so disgusting she just had to have it in there. There have been protests outside her flat in East London all afternoon.
Alfie, stop. Stop it.
You're telling me off. I quite
Yeah.
like it.
Oh, good. I just the idea that, you know, people have blackheads on their nose and then you're sucking on it, and noses are, in my opinion, the least attractive part of a face. Like, eyes, they're good.
I love your
Lips.
nose.
Yeah, but it's not like if you took my nose off and put it on a table, all noses are kind of gross. Like, there's so much snot in them and there's hair.
Well, up yours. Yeah, your nostrils are
You have big nostrils too, thank
not.
you.
Yeah, but like not anywhere near as big as yours, are they?
Don't draw attention to my nostrils.
I love your nose, and I love that it's. I love it.
I just think, don't you think, chins, lips, cheeks, eyes, forehead, nice. Nose, what the fuck is that?
Well, it's not really like that though, is it? It's like it's all making up a whole. That these are faces are greater than the sum of their parts, aren't they?
I just can't imagine sucking your nose and enjoying it. You ask me to suck your nose occasionally.
No,
is that maybe that's it?
I don't, Jessie.
Well, what do you ask me to do?
Sorry?
You do. As a joke, you say, I'll suck my nose. What do you do?
I know. When our eldest was breastfeeding,
Oh, yeah.
he would like sort of look for tit anywhere, and he would sometimes, if held in the right place, latch onto a nose
Yeah, I've
and
got
suck
photos.
the nose.
I remember I've got photos of that.
But
Maybe it roots from there.
maybe it doesn't root from there. But you've got anyway. Objectophilia, arousal to a particular object, regardless of whether it has been in physical contact with the desired person or not.
Again, this is one I'm learning is something I should get into. So it's any object with another. So with my hair, say objects in the hair, Lego in the hair, or I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, I guess you do see some objects and you're like, wow, that's a good object. Maybe that's why some people are really, really particular about their decor. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, then it's actually, yeah, that's a lovely coffee table, but also they want to fuck the coffee table.
Yeah, again, I've never had. All of my proclivities have been so rudimentary that I can't think I've ever really had a point of arousal that was like, oh, it's interesting. It's worth telling people about.
Yeah, I same with me. But then we don't know yet. We don't know
No,
yet.
but it
Maybe
would be
we'll-
good to like try. Also, and this I was thinking this the other day with regards to sexuality. I didn't like olives, and then I learned to like olives because life was just a hassle when I'm not earning. So if there's something that I don't like sexually, if I just fucking got into it and learned how to like it, like I did with olives, I'm pretty sure I could get into it. It's just about finding where the hot is.
Yeah, but it's also finding where the hot is for the other person. So if the other person is really into it and you do it for them and they really like it, then you can kind of stomach it, something that you don't like.
Oh yeah. I think if something was sending somebody wild with pleasure, I could get into it. But that's more arousal because of being aroused by pleasure, that somebody else's pleasure, than it is the thing itself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how far. I don't know. The closest I've ever got to a kink was somebody strangling me.
Mm.
And I remember thinking, he really is enjoying strangling me. So I need to look like I'm not enjoying it, because then that would ruin his enjoyment, but I need to be up for it.
Yeah.
But then it became a thing where after like the 5th time, I was like, okay, well, this is actually quite dangerous.
Mm.
And does he want to kill me?
What was the pressure like? How much pressure was he exerting on the windpipe?
A lot. It wasn't, that's why I stopped seeing him. It was really, yeah, it got to the point where I was like, I just don't know if this is sexual anymore. I think this might be violent.
Right.
Yeah. Really weird. It really hurt. Really, really hurt.
And did you get anything from it?
I just like the fact that someone wanted to have sex with me.
Right.
And it was like, okay, well, but now I realize that was a proper thing. That was like, he was really, it was never anything but him strangling me.
Every time you had sex?
Every time, immediately strangling.
So you want a bit of variety, and you want to know you want to know that you're more than just a neck. Of course, you have a tiny and delicate neck, so it's absolutely brilliant for strangling.
And it might have been a giantess thing as well, because I think he liked the fact that it was like crushing and strangling.
Well, that would have been you being tiny and him crushing you into nothing. Him being big.
He wasn't big though. He was actually a really small guy.
Well, don't give away who it is.
You don't. Oh, that's going to narrow it down. A small guy who likes strangling.
Right.
I could even say a name and it would still not narrow it down.
No, it's the first thing I'm going to do is ask which one it was.
But so that would be BDSM?
Yes, so that would be, if you were into that, it would be masochism, and him being into it is sadism.
Right, okay.
So sadism is arousal by causing physical and psychological pain, and masochism is arousal to experiencing
Right, okay.
physical and psychological pain.
Do you like being hurt? Do you think you like being hurt?
No.
Physically?
Neither.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Would you like to hurt me?
Yeah, I think so. Just in a fun, like it just a, biting.
Biting, whipping, hot
whipping.
wax.
I think we should get into whipping. I think I would like a whip. I think I would like a whip. I think I'd feel, I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face as I whipped you, so I wouldn't be able to look at you.
I'm looking forward to moving into a house together so I can engage with my climacophilia, which is arousal to falling downstairs.
Well, this is actually a genuine concern with the stairs, because the kids aren't used to stairs.
I think they'll get their head around it. I trust they're bright kids. I think they're gonna thrive.
It's a lot of stairs.
It is a lot of stairs, but do you know what? I think they're gonna manage it. I think they're gonna manage the stairs. I fell down the stairs backwards when I was a child, doing backward rolls down the stairs, and then hit my head on the stone of the hallway floor.
Who was looking after you?
I think I was being babysat at that point.
Did the babysitter tell their mum?
It won't surprise you to learn, given the nature of the injury, I can't remember.
That's bad.
I remember it. I remember me thinking, "Oh fuck, I must be really hurt," and then whoever was looking after me saying, "Oh no, you're fine."
That's really bad.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a friend. I must have been under 7. I remember seeing somebody was round and they fell down our stairs as the parents were in the kitchen, and I was the only witness. And this girl was younger than me, and I remember thinking, probably should tell the adults about that. But she just got up and wandered around, so I didn't. But I was so young.
Yeah.
And it was funny, even that age. I thought
it's always funny. It's always very funny to see people fall over.
People can die from falling downstairs.
It is very true, and that's why it's so arousing.
Yeah, maybe being pushed downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch that film, Death Becomes Her?
No.
with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn?
No.
Oh my gosh, we need to watch it.
Okay.
There's a scene where there's a stair. Oh, you don't want me to ruin it for you?
No.
Okay, cool.
Or the listener. The listener has now taken on board your recommendation and was excited about watching it.
I feel bad actually because Goldie Hawn didn't really get to the same dizzying heights as Meryl Streep, and that film they were such equals.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she's fine.
I wonder if they're friends.
I wonder. Yeah, Goldie Hawn, if you're a listener, let us know how you're doing. What are you've had, so before me, you had numerous boyfriends. The relationships with these boyfriends, it was mainly based around sex?
Mm-hmm. Only. Well, mainly not. It was very little emotional.
For you?
For me, sorry. Yeah, sorry. We have had quite a lot of comments saying that I'm, possibly on the spectrum, and that is one of the areas where I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. What other experiences did you have that perhaps veered into the untraditional? You had the boyfriend that wouldn't have sex with you?
Yeah. They none of them were. What I really want for our children.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know it sounds like it's dangerous, but I really would like them to have healthy attitudes towards sex and love. I would like them to. I really hope their sexual education is good at school, and we are able to talk to them about it and stuff, because I think that my sexual education was flawed. And my own journey sexually, perhaps because of my rape, and that being my springboard into sex, unfortunately, as it was my virginity. I don't think until I didn't have a normal sexual relationship. They were all pretty strange.
Is transactional the right word?
No, because even some of them weren't particularly transactional. Not that they were like I didn't. It was. I don't think I've had particularly. They've either been ways too much sex, so that it was just slightly like, well, what is this if it's not just? It was almost like there was nothing else, which meant that my value was in sex.
How they saw your value was just sex.
No, I think it's me. It was me, and it was me, I guess, dominating that.
Right? How? By
wanting to only have sex, probably.
And do you want to go to the theatre? I've got tickets to see the new Robert Icke play. Oh no, I just want to fuck. Or do you want to go to Sexy Fish? I've got a reservation at Sexy Fish. No, I just want to have sex.
What's Sexy Fish?
It's a restaurant where they serve fish.
No, I would not do that, obviously.
No, apparently it's awful. Anyway,
no, I know. It's just I just had no. I didn't have a connection with them. So it was just like, well, but I wanted to. Yeah, it's probably really normal, but I definitely think that until I had a satisfactory, I really like you as a friend as well, and I think that. You just saw through all of that, whereas I think I wasn't mature enough to have healthy relationships until I met you.
I can see through you, see to the real you, as the Stained lyric goes.
I really feel sorry for the men that I dated before you. Not that I was mean, but I just wasn't equipped.
Yeah.
And that's because of my journey into sex.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I don't feel sorry for them, but I from what you've said, it feels like there's either situations like the strangling guy, where he was quite obviously, you were being utilized for something that was not necessarily specific to you. It wasn't like he needed a neck. And that's more how it felt to you. Whereas...
You needed a neck.
For the other ones, you needed a dick, and they happened to be there at the same time.
Well, something.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Some of them are really sweet, and I'm really. Everyone has multiple relationships in their 20s. It just none of mine were particularly. I don't really feel like I was. I don't know. I wasn't. I should have. I don't know. If I hadn't met you, I think I would have developed a healthier way.
Mm.
But because we met relatively in the midst of my confidence building,
Yeah.
It's all changed. Whereas you had like long-term relationships and then a lot of one-night stands.
Yeah.
We've done almost the opposite.
Yes, I've only had long relationships or one-night stands, really.
Whereas I've had multiple short, intense relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer my way.
I don't know. I think it would have been really good for me to be with someone long-term.
Yeah, before me.
Before you, because I think then it would have meant that I...
Realise how good a boyfriend I am.
Well, I realised how good a boyfriend you are because of our breakups. I realised in the breakups what I missed most.
That's nice.
So I think in a way that's why it's been vital that we've broken up. But I think it probably would have been what my agony in our breakups has been, but I still love you. I think it would be really useful for me to have had a relationship and to have it ended amicably, it not be a toxic situation, just to have fallen out of love, situation didn't work, and then you move on and you can be at peace with that. Whereas the only idea I have is you are deeply in love with someone and you stay in love with them, and if you break up, it's just the worst thing in the world because you still love. So I don't know what it's like to fall out of love and for it to end nicely, because we've only ever broken up when I've still been in love with you, which is so I don't actually have the experience of just a relationship ending nicely. All the relationships that I had, which were all short, but, important and enough for me to, I ended them all badly. I didn't end one in a nice, good way.
No.
And that's a massive failure. Yeah,
it's very, very useful for both of my major exes to still I'm on good terms with them.
They really like you. And that's what I, for years, couldn't comprehend.
And I like them.
And you like them. And I can see exactly why you were compatible. And it's kind of painful for me because I can see how you were good together and why you would have found each other attractive. And I can imagine you at these things at that age and how you would have looked and your friendship circles at the time. And
thinner.
I'm deeply jealous of that. But I think that's fucked up of me because I'm deeply jealous of the fact that they had you young or they had you at that age. And I would have loved to have known you that age. I can't imagine not being... I'm just too intense. I'm such an intense person.
You're a very intense person, aren't you?
Such an intense person.
Well, that was good. I enjoyed talking about fetishes and its journey into relationships.
I'll just do one final fetish just to
Do you have one final fetish to see us off?
So, feeling aroused by... Right, nebulophilia.
Nebulophilia.
Feeling aroused by fog. And you can see I've circled this one.
Why have you circled that one?
Because I think, again, how lucky to have that one. Imagine whenever there's fog. Gotta go outside.
But also, fog, correct me if I'm wrong, is the same as vape, like clouds.
Yeah.
So if you're attracted to fog, are you attracted to clouds?
And you just walk along the street, everyone's vaping now. You just get your kicks as you walk down Oxford High Street.
Yeah, I bet there's like some horny vape thing going on.
Yeah, people just trying to follow the vape.
Vape trails.
Okay, I've got to go.
Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go for a run.
You're going to go for a run?
Yeah, a really quick run.
I am so tired.
I'm sorry. Well, soon we're going to be in our house, in our new bed. Me and Alfie have never been good with money. And we decided to spend some of the last of the money that we've got for the house, budgeted anyway, on a bed.
Sorry. I'm fucked.
What did you just do?
I just yawned and shook it out my head. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm
right.
just so fucked with tired.
We spent money going. We spent
We
quite
spent money
a lot
on a
of
new
money.
bed.
Yeah, but it's quite a lot of money on a bed that moves.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those ones that tilts up at the back, so we can read on, like. And the funniest thing is, and I don't think Jesse quite realizes, like those are for old people.
Why have we never even discussed? We've never shown any interest in getting a bed that moves up.
Walked
and
in the
down.
store, saw some move up, went, that's what we want. We were so close to getting one with the TV that comes out the foot of the bed.
Which are the ugliest things in the world.
They are the ugliest thing. And the TV that comes out is always going to be crap anyway.
I think we have such. I am extremely impulsive. I need to get things done immediately. So we went in, saw the bed with the giant TV. You looked kind of enthusiastic about it. I didn't realize you were joking. So I was like, okay, this one, we can get this one. I didn't even check the price.
Yeah, you didn't realize I was sort of just mucking about.
$6,500 grand. And I was fully ready just to say, okay, cool, let's get that. So soon you'll be in our nice movable bed. And you'll get some sleep.
Soon.
And we can start our new fetish life. I can
Yes.
start sucking your nose
Well,
as you go to sleep.
no time like the present, bitch. See you next week.
Goodbye. I don't need to say goodbye.
No.